They had signed Doha Accord, and it was hoped that both sides would respect it. But I don't think that happened. Consequently, the problem became more complex. The situation in Afghanistan is very complex. You alluded to the history. Their history is also checkered. I suppose the only time they had relative peace was during Zahir Shah's time. That also wasn't very long. And it was infested with many problems subsequent to Zahir Shah's fall. At this moment, as you mentioned, it is a multi-ethnic society. There are Tajiks, there are Uzbeks, there are Turkmens, there are Hazaras, there are Pashtuns. All sorts are there. And to create the demographic balance in that society is a daunting task. Now, with this backdrop, when you have grave climatic effects, Afghanistan is suffering from that, climate change. You also have the volatility in political system after the withdrawal. Earlier on, the phase was the withdrawal of the Soviet forces, and then later on, in the recent times, the withdrawal of the American forces. They had signed Doha Accord, and it was hoped that both sides would respect it. But I don't think that happened. Consequently, the problem became more complex. At this moment, the Taliban interim government is facing a lot of problems, partly their own doing and partly because of how the situation has evolved, like their assets have been blocked, they're having economic crisis, but they're also not respecting their commitment to the international community that they would bring peace to their society. They would consider all citizens as equal citizens, given all rights. At this moment, women are suffering, and when women suffer, children suffer also. Education is a big problem. Health is a big problem. Polio is there. And really, it's a very difficult situation for them. But the worst is that they are escalating their problems into the region. So the regional countries are also suffering because of instability in Afghanistan. When you can't manage your own home, then obviously it becomes a hotbed of all sorts of problems. When they are not dedicating themselves to their society, to their people. You mentioned the Khorasan group. There is Daesh also. There are other groups also. But the worst is that in their Doha commitment, they had promised that they will not let their land be used for terrorist activities in other countries. And now there is evidence that they have allowed that to happen. They have given residency to such elements who are creating problems in Pakistan. And that is against all international norms, particularly between two brotherly, neighborly countries. I would say that there is very strong evidence that they are. But as far as the Khorasan group is concerned, there may be other sources also that may be supporting them. With TTP also, it is a failure on part of the Taliban interim government, but there may be other elements also who are encouraging the activities of TTP.